Good evening and welcome to another impactful edition of Champion Network TV, your platform for powerful conversation, fresh perspective, bold ideas and matters to the Zimbabwean in particular. I am your host, Mija, and today we are diving into a very important topic to the people of Zimbabwe. The topic is Rhodesia gone away, and what does it mean to say Rhodesia doesn't die? This topic touches the core of Zimbabwe and raises questions and challenges us all to think critically to say, are we independent for sure? And we are honored to have a diverse panel with insight into the history of Zimbabwe. And to help us to unpack this, we have got Soko in the house, Jenna, and Shumba, who is going to start us off on this important discussion. So I will leave. Today, this episode is going to be short, so your ears should be open and to listen and also contribute. And so without taking much of your time, I give this time to Shumba.
Yeah, good evening, viewers. Today we're going to touch the topic of Rhodesia, because ever since we gained our independence, I think there's one thing that we neglect in looking into. That is the community of Rhodesians who left Zimbabwe. Most of them, we see them, especially on social media, they are present, and they are still making a lot of noise. Their motto is Rhodesia never dies. So you see them propagating. I think they were behind, I believe, the wave in Zimbabwe when people started saying Smith was better because of the condition that prevail in our country today. So we want to touch on this topic, and then just to keep our people aware of that, even though we attained independence, we still got this history looming behind us, whereby some people are still aggrieved that they lost their possession, and we need to debate whose possession is it, and what are the dangers that if we as Zimbabweans, we don't come together and define this space to say, what did our independence mean? Shall we go back to be subjugated by other people so that we can, it remains a colony in other people's mindset? And how we can fight back against such narratives that are mushrooming everywhere, and what does it entail when we have powerful presidents like Trump, who can wake up one day and decide that maybe what happened in Zimbabwe was a historical anomaly which needs to be corrected. So that's our topic today. So I throw it on the floor for our discussants to look into it.
Here we are. Quite an interesting topic.
Yeah, I think before we go deeper into it, I think I will just share some of the social media posts that have come across. So there's this YouTube of Rhodesian remembrance.
It's muted, Shuma.
Maybe when you shared the screen, you didn't share with the sound.
Audio.
Yeah.
I think what you do, Misha, if you can share it from your side.
From my side.
No, I didn't know it's not playing the sound. It does that sometimes when you are sharing.
Is it the last one you shared?
No, second from last.
Second from last. Let me see. I think we are having challenges of sharing, I think, today. It's not allowing me to share from this because I have got one screen.
Okay.
Can you proceed?
People can see it on YouTube. It's a free thing.
Sorry?
Can you proceed? Can you go on?
Yeah, I'll try it once more. If we fail, then we continue. We just go with just saying it. Okay. Right.
All right. Okay. All right. Have you shared?
Is it working now?
Yeah.
Commonly used in military gatherings. When Rhodesians mourn their glorious dead, we should recall what Wingate said. One day, I know not when or where, we'll say, I'm proud that I was there. For those in that far-off land who fell in battle, let us stand. Remember, just for what they died, of those shall be our boast and pride. I think it says it all, guys. So while you actually take a moment to reflect on that, I've asked the guys to actually just play us a tune, generally used at a lot of weddings. It's used on New Year, the Scottish heritage. I think we'll all know the tune when it starts to play. However, I believe this is a really true version of it, very melancholic. And if we look at the words of the song, should old acquaintance be forgot? I just think I never brought to mind. And I just think that's a question we should be asking ourselves all the time. So if you don't mind, we can just play this tune, take a moment to reflect.
So that's one of them. And then this is a pattern. And then I'll just play a bit of the other one. So this one was the 2021.
Asked for Alan Strachan to take over the chair. He had planned to attend the 8th memorial service.
Some have helped out in other areas. I would like to give a special thank you to Chris and Shirley Rass and Gary and Debbie Huxham, who have been outstanding with the assistance that they have given to the RFMC at every memorial service. Thanks also to the many people who regularly attend the annual memorial services for their support and for making each one most memorable. Having chaired the Rhodesian Force.
So I could say basically we can see this is they've got these annual memorials. Most of the Rhodesians, when after independence, most went to South Africa. We have got a large contingent of them in South Africa, and then Australia, some are in America. They are all over the world, UK, Canada. So they are always meeting and having these meetings. And sometimes they meet with very powerful people. So in this world that's so divided, what are we aware as Zimbabweans? Have we got a strategy of fighting back? Because we live in a world where things can go either way. So this is open to discussion. I think lastly, before we finish, I'll just share this tweet. It's a Twitter handle actually, so I'll just share it here. Just you see, to show you how active they are on social media. Can you see my screen?
No. Okay.
You don't see my screen?
Now we can see it now.
Yeah. So if you look at that on that screen, you can see that this is a coin, like a crypto coin they've launched recently. I think June 2024. They launched this crypto coin called Rhodesia on Sol. They actually boast that gradually it will attain value more than our current currency in Zimbabwe. They are competing to see that eventually it's going to surpass the ZiG in value. So they go on this side and they sort of are mocking they are mocking us in a way and say ever since we took Zimbabwe, we have not been able to do anything meaningful with it, and we have made the country slide into a country with no electricity, a country that is bedeviled with a lot of things. So you can see Rhodesia was a nation of electricity. It is now a nation of candles. So they are always posting their military, and they've got a lot of things that they acknowledge. So that's where we are, and they glorify whatever was happening in Zimbabwe during the war, and they still, like, they are also much involved in the South African politics as well. So that's where we are in a nutshell. So we just need to be aware that the forces that we see in South Africa, like this video here where Ramaphosa was in the White House, they are repeating it with another narrative. So that shows their aim and what they believe they lost, and they feel one day they want to claim that back. So that's the question that's open to discussion.
Thank you, Shumba, and maybe just to welcome Wumba. Welcome into the house.
Oh, hi. Shumba, you want to be, you don't need to put it here, did you? You want me to really break what you just said now? Okay, firstly, I'll say Rhodesia is gone, dusted, right? And now, then secondly, I want to say these people are the people, it's a bunch of people with no origin, or who lack the place to call their benchmark in origin. They originated somewhere else, and now they want to trace back to in history to where they think they can say that's where they then originated. No. They came with their own things, yes, good things that we did, but they found people in Zimbabwe that were there. And they came with, oh, please, there's too many things that I want to say. Time is so limited. Okay, they came with those issues of racial segregation, giving the electricity to a very few number of people, and then ballooning it to say they are very living large and living comfortable. Yes, they were, but not the rest of the people in Zimbabwe. You look at the people that were in the reserves, the tribal trust lands, Wangaru Makipi, and those people, the rightful people of Zimbabwe, right? When we then gained in, because also of the numbers that had now to be exposed to the same facility, it's bound to be that lapse where it changed. Kana mwana chaya akazvarwa, you find mukabvunza, if you ask Soko, kana kuzara mwana paanozvarwa, ane a certain weight. Then after maybe a day or two, the weight actually it decreases first before. Maybe you can say that period of decrease has been too big, or maybe because of which we can justify by talking about the numbers. If it is about them benefiting and living, or benefiting and losing, yes, they lost. But if you look at then the Zimbabweans, they gained. I'm looking at an ordinary Zimbabwean coming from a crowded place, who was then eventually given the chance to have an A2 or A1 farm to practice his agriculture. Yes, there are so many challenges to why they want to compare the productivity of that person to the production that was done by the whites. But in terms of that black person who is there, it's a great improvement, because it's no longer dependent to be given things. But nationally at large, yes, it might be a problem, yes, because they are now producing less for the maybe people that are in the cities. But if you come here to this country, you find that most of the people that are in the cities, they do actually have the pieces of land somewhere else where they can feed themselves. So it is gone, especially starting from the name itself, Rhodesia. Roads item, the item for roads is not there anymore.
What I might pose, Jena, whilst you vehemently defend our sovereignty, have you got the guns and the money to defend it?
Africa has never survived on just getting money. They brought the concept of us believing that money is the thing, but we lived our life happily, and that is where the origin is.
Right. Let's debate this issue with our reasoning, because I think there is a very important observation that Shumba alluded to. He is not saying they are there or not, but their activities and chances of them having a powerful influence is the thing that we need to be debating and talking about, to say, yes, we have got independence, but are we aware of these forces that might be looming in the background?
Independent since when? We just need to understand this. You're the ones who are saying, I mean, we're independent, we're this class A farm and class B farm and this, that. Yeah, you've got black majority rule, but you're not independent at all. You don't have your own currency for starters. Is that a mark of independence?
What constitutes independence?
Fraternity, equality, and the ability to facilitate whatever you want to do. Can you do what you want to do? No. Tell me more about your judicial system. Are you in a position to verify or classify anything? If somebody says no, the answer is no.
Okay, maybe just to throw a thought in the house. We might say we have got independence, we have got land, A1, A whatever. But if you want to say you own it, you have to follow through a particular process, which was put in place by the colonial administration. Is that our only creation?
We cannot.
I go on.
Okay. We cannot really say it was a creation of the colonial masters. Land everywhere in the world. There is land, state land, and if you want to own it, you have to pay for it. But because the people were underprivileged, they could not even reach that extent of being able to buy it. And now, because we've now been given the opportunity to be able to buy from scratch, from nothing, to be able to buy that land, that's an achievement. And you can't compare. You can't say because someone has been rich already, he's now entitled to be always being having that land.
We are going into the wrong minefield. What is wealth? What is wealth?
Yeah.
Richness, matoenda kure. Because mukadzane
Yeah.
munane vakadziti vari rich.
Makombe, Zimbabwe,
that's the basic example.
So when you start talking about that, the starting point is the land.
Okay.
Don't know Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, South Africa.
The first starting point is not the land, is the person and his approach to the land.
What is Zimbabwe? Is it a land or a person?
I think Murukutaura is same thing.
So not cheaper maybe for Zimbabwe.
Murukutaura same thing. So ko Murukuiona ose, but Ndukunzwa Murukutaura same thing.
ava mukutora kuti vari kucelebrata Rhodesia ava varida kudzoka rekati vari kucelebratawo zvakaitika like
takavahondonani takavapedza. They can dream wherever they are. They must keep dreaming.
Jena hamuna kuvapedza, inzwai Soko, these people, their dream is coming back to the homeland. Yeah, that's why their motto is a Rhodesian never die.
Colonization futi
no, Zimbabwe, South Africa. I think we played Dr. Mapranga speaking. Zimbabwe and South Africa were never meant to be black. Yeah, they were meant for white settlement. So to them, us being now in charge is an anomaly that needs to be corrected.
Saka varikuda kudzokera in power.
Varikuda kudzokera in power. So if the geopolitical situation in the world changes, Jena, unoiruza farm uendeswa kuZambia. They've done it before. Makipi oitaiwa pamwe hawazoitawo makipi, but vanokudza kuti Jena uchienda tokutsvagira famu kuZambia kana kuMalawi.
If we listened to the contribution to the DA representative at White House, his contribution was they came together with the ANC to keep away the Malema and the MK out. In other words, according to them, they are on the road to have some minority white interest in South Africa. Because if MK and the Malema's party united with the ANC, it was going to propagate the black interest. I don't know.
There was no way that would have ever happened because all those opposition parties are against the ANC.
Yes, you're right there.
No way. That's why I'm saying let's keep dreams, my dreams. Aziko. And don't come up, and you cannot come and say it was influenced by the whites. No, Malema na ANC azibonani. ANC azibonani. So where does the West come in to influence who?
Right.
aiwa tiri kuda kudzoka pataurwa nadhibheti yenyu jena namakombe yekuti what is land. The whole struggle we had was due to the dispossession of our people of their land. And it was not only the land that they were dispossessed of, they were dispossessed of wealth. You read the history of Zimbabwe, you and T.M. Mikos getting cattle and goats, livestock from our people. Yeah. So it was dispossession of wealth, and that wealth included land itself. So land is the measure of wealth wherever you go in the world. And when they talk of colonization, is the control of land. That's why even if you live in the UK, one of the most expensive commodities you find is land as well. So to me, independence must be linked to economic emancipation, access to wealth, which we they made sure there were those guardrails that they put us in reserves, in native reserves, so that we don't have access to our land and the wealth that it produces. So to them now, this piece of real estate belongs to them and their children and future generations, not to the indigenous people. They've done it in Australia, they've done it in Canada and the United States.
Because they sent us to first. Listen, the idea is they came in, right? Zimbabwe was stable with people eating, growing their things, eating. And then they came and then they wanted to produce for their people in Europe. That's why we talk about now an economy whereby you must produce maize and sell to them, produce this and sell to them. That was a mere entry to suck our wealth. We had our own things and we could survive.
No, but Jenna, I think where you are wrong is they didn't come with the intention of going back to Europe. They came to settle.
Settlers. Those are that benchmark are very wrong. This is our background. Background. There was no white man in Africa.
Let's give Sophie an opportunity to make a contribution.
How you are?
Mama Kombe, let's make our contribution because our time is moving. We had made our commitment to do our discussion within 30 minutes, and we are almost there.
Sakamuda utinditi. Inenda kutaurira mabvunza kuti chinonzi land chi. Land is space that is unoccupied with water. Yeah, those no real land issues.
Our question was about Zimbabwe and Rhodesia.
Rhodesia is a nation.
Yes.
Rhodesia iriko. Kune Zimbabwe nyika. Natives ayo.
Yes.
Our settlers have not lost their ethos of thinking. They go to okay, tinoenda kopi. What are we going to do? How, why, what, when, and where? They have not lost that. Like it was always highlighted, but the constructive intention was not to go back. These are settlers. There's a reason why they call them settlers.
Yes.
They come to explore other commodities, mining, agriculture, and so on. And also make way for other people. Kuti pane chimwe chinogona kuitika here, and create, humanity, crossbreeding and things like that. Saka Rhodesia muri kutaura kuti yakafa, haina kufa. Ichauya in another way.
Yes, but when we realized that manje kuti pane vanhu vauya kusikuti pamba pedu ndepavo, that was the end of the Rhodesia.
No.
When we realized that
didn't kill Rhodesia.
that was the end of the Rhodesia.
No.
And then
But Jenaka, the
That
problem
was
is
settler living.
the problem we have is, if we go back and study the history, why were we defeated? Have we corrected that mistake so that these people are waiting in the wings, and the same thing that they used to defeat you, is it not there to defeat you again?
Yeah.
If you are sleeping on the wheel.
the mistake that they did was they took people like you from us, and you are seeing everything for us who are in here, and you are also now amongst them. And if you look at almost all those top-notch organizations, you find a Zimbabwean in there on the top.
Yeah. But they are there for
Yes. So those people are the ones that can just tell. They will be telling us.
they're there for different reasons. When I will join an Oxfam, I will join a Red Cross, I will join the Interchildren or whatever, Save the Children, all those companies. For a reason. It's just about to work with join.
But Rhodesia is okay.
Yeah, but
it's a virtual nation.
it's also what it did.
Yes, you're right. I agree with you. If you say it's a virtual, it will forever be virtual.
No,
On the ground,
it's not guaranteed. It's always be virtual.
No.
If we don't learn the lessons of the past, until izvozvizvi wabvunza ukati imimi muri ikoko maita sei kutoti ndizoite come across this information handiti kunge wapindawo masystems avo wakudzidza kuti colonization iyi waidai wochitanga kutarisa manje kuti pattern yecolonization and settler mentality around the world kuti inofamba sei. So to them, ukaenda even kunana Australian government has got so much support for their cause, for the Rhodesian cause. Ukaenda kunana Canada, muno mu UK hawatauri zvavo, but they have that.
One country club, yeah. I've been there.
Wanotoita remembrance. Before you came in Makombe, we showed some videos where they do annual commemoration of what they've lost. So isusu kudzidza kana tichiuya paplatform panapa kudzidza kuti guys, in as much as we celebrate our independence, the first reason why we were subjugated was because hatina kuinnovate militarily. We didn't hatina kukoshesa chinhu chinonzi national defense and it. So now the problem is tikaramba tichirepeata izvozvo tichiita hollow out my institutions of state, tisingaite empower the security services. This is and empower the history of our country to the young generation. This is where we end up being, because these people have got so much influence. They are people with money and power, and they can engineer. I was reading an article ndakaitumira mugroup ameno kana makaiwerenga yeku-Sri Lanka, how they engineered kuti the present government iripo inge iripo because vanenge vazviplana kudhara. Vanotora wapana zvemambotaura jena kuti vanotora maZimbabweans vachifitwa muma-institutions ekuAmerica, wozodzoka manje iwo wachitanga a revolution inenge iri a-color revolution, woisa vanhu vaya in power, they are suiting their wakuita zvavanoda. Eventually tichazongonzi chibva imuendi. but
Right.
ndosaka uchiona kuti masanctions ezimbabwe enge ari very severe because of the land issue. Yeah,
Right.
it was the land issue yakaita kuti zimbabwe irohwe nemamwe masanctions ekuti very few countries have been hit with.
And they're also seeing that Zimbabwe the issue, some other African states are now trying to follow the same system. That's why I know they still want to nip the bud. Because
Let's begin to think about our final statements. But I want to give also an opportunity to whoever is watching on the stream. If they've got comments, contributions, you can put it in the chat. You can phone. Then you can include it in our discussion. If you are watching, you can also like, subscribe to Champion Network TV. We have overshoot our time with almost 10 minutes. So let's give our final round of thoughts to the viewers. I think this is a topic that cannot be exhausted in a half an hour. This is just the beginning of a discussion because it's key to national agenda, the national security as well. So we'll go first in terms of giving final remarks.
I think I'll go first and just say this was just to test the waters, so to say we're putting this discussion up there and to putting also the awareness that a nation ought to learn to defend itself. If you don't defend itself, the idea that other nations will respect you, you need to forget about it. I always say borders are shifting sand that are drawn by the powerful. So if you hear Trump saying we want Canada to be the 51st state of America, he means it. He wants Greenland to be part of America. He said we'll take Greenland whether by negotiation or by force. So this is the world we live in now, the real world of hard power. And I've been talking to Misha. I said Europe is rearming for a war with Russia. If they don't have a war with Russia, those arms will find other uses. Will it mean recolonization of Africa? That might be on the table. So this is just a discussion to throw that awareness to say, guys, in as much as we got our independence, but if we falter in protecting it, we will lose it. All countries that are always guaranteeing their future, one thing they do is they've got massive military budgets to protect themselves. We're talking, recently you heard Germany saying they are upping their military budget, 700 billion they put into their military. How much are we putting in our military? This is about protecting yourself and projecting your power. So let's think about it and see where Zimbabwe ought to go in this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think that's wasted time business.
Jenna, indicting.
Yeah, I think I will just say anyway, because there's not a lot of time to be telling stories. I'll just say Rhodesia was there and is now virtual. I understand, I accept it, as Shumba has said. But then Zimbabwe came in, and Zimbabwe is different from Rhodesia, starting from the name itself, not talking much about what was in Rhodesia and what was in Zimbabwe. Then I also want to say those people that celebrate their past, it is always there. Mununga birthday rake. Yes, it happened. Let's not be so much worried about them saying because you are celebrating your birthday today, so tomorrow can also be your. No.
Was still.
Makutaurisa. Inini handina story yakambokura kuraba nezvinhu zvakadai. Ndikutotaura on behalf of Soko and myself. We're talking about virtuality Rhodesia, Iriko. And it remains a very effective threat. Mukada kuiregerera zvakaitika kuEurope, especially in England, wachitora Falkland Islands, zvichaitika futi. Munonzwa Canada yakataurirwa kuti tinogona kukutorai, England tinogona kukutorai. Saka that seed remains active kunzoko. Saka we must be exceptionally be vigilant in terms of how we plan our countries, our structures, and our politics. Geopolitics is changing at an unprecedented scale. Zvekuti vari kuchibata at the moment washoma kuti zvinhu zviri kutochinja zvichidai zvichienda kwakadai. And all I can say is pass up.
Yeah, I will say it, Makumbi.
Wow. So kandi mataurirwa ndizve.
Aiwa vataurirwa pedzi.
Wow. What it was an exciting and eye-opening conversation. I think we will begin to interrogate this as we go along. It was thought-provoking, and the topic of today, as we say, is Rhodesia still there? Is it gone? The house is divided, with the Jenna clearly saying it's a bygone. If they are celebrating it just like anyone celebrating their birthday, you can't stop them. But Shumba says this was an awareness, and a country's security is measured by how much they invest in their national security budget, and we don't know how much Zimbabwe is putting into our security, whether we value our independence. We don't know. Wumba summed it up that Rhodesia is still active, is still there, and is still a national threat. If we care is not taken, what happened in Falkland and what Trump will do to Canada might come to us as well. So we must be vigilant as a country. Our structures, our politics, geopolitics is changing. Vakabvazongoita we toriziva kumusha kwedu izwi iroro ukanzwa baba wako achikuti pasopo weziva kuti zvinhu zvinomira zvakanaka. So to our viewers, thank you for tuning in and joining us. Continue commenting, and it will inform how we take this discussion further. Continue sharing your thoughts in our comment. Tag someone who needs to watch this, because it's quite important. And make sure you subscribe, you like, and you follow Champion Network TV. Until next time, from me, Mija, reminding you always to keep questioning, keep building, and above all, stay championing the cause of talking the truth. Good night.
Good night.